On asset protection, and as a business owner, you build a brand. A lot of times you're going to be online. People are going to be able to recognize your name if they Google you, which is a tremendous asset, but it's also a tremendous liability. So again, keeping those business and personal accounts separate is absolutely paramount. Putting dollars in retirement accounts where they're protected potentially from creditors, very important. Trusts, homestead exemptions, liability insurances, all of these things are tools that are at our disposal. And as it relates to asset protection, what I always say, it's like a medieval castle. One line of defense isn't going to be sufficient. A moat isn't going to be enough. You're going to have multiple sources of defense. Maybe it's a moat, maybe it's archers, maybe it's fire, whatever it might be. You're going to have multiple defenses for your assets as a business owner. So again, make sure you're planning. These accidents, these lawsuits, they always happen at not exactly how you expect, and somewhat differently than you would have imagined. So make sure you're protected, make sure you have redundancies built in, and make sure if you're a successful business owner that you're really protecting yourself. Umbrella insurance is absolutely dirt cheap. You can get several $1,000,000 of coverage for like $1,000 a year. So that's a worthwhile expense. Moving on to estate planning, every business owner should have some sort of estate plan in place. So again, this is very likely your biggest asset. So you really want to make sure that you're protecting it however you can. So have an estate plan in place. Make sure you identify how you might sell this business if something happens to you. Who are the benefactors? Who are going to be the folks in charge? How will your spouse be taken care of? How will they be paid? Just even very simple documents will make a world of difference. Business owner's estate plan with trust and all these other things might cost $3,000 or $4,000, but critically important. Life insurance as a business owner is really important because you might have business debts. You might have an illiquid business that you don't know how quickly could be sold. So having at very least a term life policy to protect your loved ones if something were to happen to you is so very important. Estate tax gifting, if your business is worth in excess of $20 million, which is admittedly the minority of folks, but nonetheless, being proactive with planning your estate tax is going to make all the difference. And the final 2 points, again, business succession planning, we've talked about it many, many times. I can't tell you how many successful, wonderful, great businesses I've seen where there's not adequate planning. And one example I'll give is I was working with a couple of brothers who were very, very successful entrepreneurs. I mean, they were doing $100 million plus of sales. And I talked to them about succession planning. They said, well, we don't really need that because if I die, he'll get it. And if he dies, I'll get it. And I said, well, that's all good and well, but there would be a tax bill associated with one of you passing away, even if you just give it to your brother. So they were kind of floored by that. So make sure that you have done some of this planning proactively. And this is maybe a helpful tip. Make sure you change your retirement plan beneficiaries with significant life changes. I can't tell you how often I have new clients that come to me and we're reviewing who the beneficiaries are of their account. And I ask them and they say, oh, wow, that was my friend before I got married. Or, oh my gosh, that's my ex-husband. Or, oh, that really shouldn't go there. So make sure you are updating these documents probably every 3 to 5 years at a minimum, but certainly as needed. So that wraps up our estate planning conversation.